Carbon allows us to put due dates on things. And from a higher level, we can click a few buttons on our dashboard
what's what,
and see where everything's up to. Yeah. And without that, unfortunately, you couldn't grow. Like we used to do that on Excel, right?
Yeah.
We used to drop down the cells and say, was it ready to start, plan?
How many people would be doing that?
Yeah.
We said that as well. You came to one of our trainings a few months back. And so you got to have a specific software for your business. We're in construction, so I tell them, like, don't be operating off Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Don't go, although Xero has a place, it's not necessarily the best thing for you to manage your accounting and your obligations and to track your jobs.
Yeah.
So what else can you use? Maybe use it in conjunction with something else. And that's, you hit the nail on the head just earlier. That's where you're going to get growth.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are they're stuck in the day-to-day. Like, was it challenging for you that moment when you when you made the decision to put a GM on? From that time, it's like it'd been, say, 10 years. Yeah. You've been the top dog. You do everything. Like, hey, no one does it better than me. Like, I'm not going to give this to someone else. Fuck, how am I going to pay for their wage?
Yep.
All those questions come in. Run us through that process.
Of course, it's going to be hard. Like you're telling an accountant to spend money. Right. But through, we've got a mentor and a business coach, and from the discovery about business is business, and you do live in your own little shell when you're running your own organization. You're not really concerned about what your competition's doing. But to step out of the business with our business coach and to be understanding that in order to get to where we want to get to, you need to put someone in that role to free up your time. And you have to come to terms with that's going to come at a cost. And then it was the discussion of what type of general manager we would want in our organization to enable us to go to the next step. So we had Commonwealth Bank representatives that were high up that came for the role. We've had people that, have bought and sold accounting firms that have done it before. We had a financial planner. And Josh came with the experience of knowing how to take a business from a smaller turnover up to that $10 million turnover, which is where we want to get to, and as well as the coaching aspect. So we know that in accounting, compliance will probably be null and void in a few years because of AI. And don't get me wrong, there will still be some transactions that we need to help clients with, but we're seeing it through a lot of automation now. So it was about what we need to change now. So in 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, we're not made redundant in that regard. And from his perspective, coming from that MBA background, we're learning how to coach each client. And we're passing that down to our managers and also our accountants now. So when they get into a room with their client, it's not about here's your tax return and sign off and here's your BAS and these are your numbers, which is historical data anyway.
And it's also what 90% of the accountants do out there.
Correct.
As well.
Yeah.
It's
more about how do you, what the clients wants to do in the future and how do we facilitate and help that from our learnings, from our coach, from MBA, from all of our experiences. Like we put our managers through some management courses as well. So everyone's always constantly learning in our firm. We do some soft skill training. So you do your monthly tax training, of course, with tax updates and things. But every year we get in and we get the staff to do some soft skill 3-day training, which is most important about leadership, communication, focus, how to even, separate and not worry about their emails so much, but actually concentrate. So those things are vitally important for us to always improve every staff member's personal development. But yeah, going back to the question, in order to let go of the reins of the firm was very, very difficult from a personal perspective. Like you said, George, you're in there every day, you're doing everything, you know everyone. But if you don't do that, you can't grow. So I've been able, sitting here today to enable me to come down to Melbourne and do the podcast. I would have been able to do that 3 years ago.
Yeah, take a whole day off.
On a Monday, yeah. Or Wednesday, which is when it comes out. I want to touch on what you spoke about with AI. So where do you see, I guess, because a lot of what you do is, whilst there is some level of creativity, a lot of it is rule following, right? Like in the sense of
absolutely
1 + 2 = 3.
Yep.
Which is something that can very easily be replaced by machine learning.
Yep.
how much of an impact do you think AI is going to have in your space? And what are you guys doing, I guess, to make sure that you don't get made redundant?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. For us, compliance, like I said, will probably be so much, will be automated. We've already seen that you can put rules on certain transactions through the subscription softwares that we've got through MyOb and Xero and BGL for super funds. So we're already starting to see that it can be automated. What our job is to teach the client about what their numbers mean. And that's where we differentiate ourselves. We want to, from the point of discovery, from the first time we meet any potential client, it's more about us awareing them of their own numbers, because they come into business being a good technician. It might be a carpenter or someone that's really good at code. They're good at their, It was the same for myself, except, coming from the accountant stage, you sort of learn about numbers, but they might be in marketing or hospitality. And our job is to teach them what those numbers mean. So yes, you've got the automation. Yes, the BAS could be automated. Potentially the tax returns will be automated one day. We're not seeing that just yet. But it's about identifying to the client what they mean and how they can improve their bottom line. Because it's not always about the top and turnover and revenue.
It's about what you keep.
Yeah, it's about what you get at the bottom, right? So our job is to educate them and give them a fast course on what their books look like. And every client's going to be different. Every size is going to be different. Every industry is different. But numbers is relatively the same. And understanding the numbers is relatively the same across all industries.
Yeah. And you get a pretty good insight into, doing what we do as well, we get a pretty good insight into people's businesses from the front end, right? From the acquisition end.
Yeah.
And what I find is most people have no idea about their numbers.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
If you ask them what a balance sheet was, because you don't get taught it, right? You finish out of high school, they might go to TAFE or they might do a university degree, but to actually sit down with them and say what their balance sheet is, which, is just as important as their profit and loss. More important is their cash flow statement. More important than that is, have they got a budget or a forecast? And people think, no, it's not for me to do, right? I build the house, I make the bread, I serve the customer in hospitality.
Doing the do,
right? But unless you take those couple of hours and sort of sit down with them and explain them to them, I don't think they could ever go to the next level in their business, or they could increase their net, because they never look at their expenses. They never go through and say, I don't actually need this. It's just what I had, like a subscription, right? They get a subscription for a magazine or something, the Fin Review, but they're not even using it. How often are they reviewing those? So we sit down with them and sort of go through those key pointers, because like I said, it's not about just, getting more rev. It's about making you most efficient as possible. And that's where the training comes in that we constantly do even for myself, coming off the back of we're always constantly learning, and then we can give that information to all of our clients.
Yeah, nice. I think one of the best things you can do is I went and paid for a bookkeeper to sit down with them and just went through 3 hours of just books.
Yep.
Teach me how you do your job.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to understand this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need to understand different chart of accounts. I need to understand how the balance sheet works, how you reconcile things. What's this? What's that?
Yep.
What's a direct cost? What's an expense? What can we spend on certain things? Yep. What can we claim? What's not? How are we going to make sure we don't get in trouble? And I think it's been one of the most beneficial things we've done to date, just to understand. So because then you can look at a P&L and say, okay, cool. Hey, this is why we didn't make money this month.
Yeah.
Or this is why we're extremely profitable this month.
But who's going to know your business better than you? Not the accountant, not the bookkeeper. You're going to know what your transactions are, what you're spending money on, and you've also got the control of that. So
clarity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you said, there is always going to be a fine line between what you can and can't claim in that regard, but you need to understand your own numbers.
Super important.
Yeah. And
I think it comes with and now that you've done that, you feel, was it hard
to do?
To understand?
No, but I'm a very numbers guy.
Yeah. But do you think, so I would look at that. If everyone's not doing it, to me, that says there's a level of anxiety and a level of I'm dumb, like I don't know these things. It's too hard basket.
Yep.
So they ignore it because there's money in the account every month. So like, okay, I must be doing all right.
Yep.
But really, they don't know how much money is in the account at the end of the quarter or whatever it might be once they've got to pay their BAS or whatever it might be.
PAYG or
All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. So it can leave them in a bit of a hole, and then they all of a sudden think they're making, $500,000 and it comes down to 50.
Yep.
And so what the hell have I been working?
No, absolutely. The goal is to teach the client about numbers, and we do that, through Zoom or meeting physically. And just going through, like you did, Robbie, with your bookkeeper, and understanding their transactions and understanding what's coming up. And the BAS sometimes going quarterly might not be a good thing. The PAYG payments that they have to make to the ATO for the wages tax every quarter might not be suiting their cash flow position. And like you said, you've got $100,000 and then all of a sudden you get a $48,000 BAS bill, right? That they didn't anticipate. And there's no stupid questions. All of our customers, I prefer that they ask questions.
Yeah. Don't pretend to know it all.
Correct. Like if you ask me to draw a string line or build a wall or, do a truss,
Yeah.
I'm kidding myself, right? I'm an accountant. I wouldn't know how to do that. But if I had to do something or learn that, because I know that's good for me going forward, I would spend the time in order investigating what I needed to learn.
Yeah.
Because these guys are in business. They're in business. They've made a decision. They're not working for someone. They're in business for the rest of their time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't ever see any downfall in asking what they think is a stupid question to learn. And the only way they're going to do that is to have the confidence to say, I don't understand it. Can you teach me?
Yeah. Well, it's the skills that got you to where you are and not the skills that you need to get you where you need to be.
Correct.
And that's what a lot of people fall short on, I believe. And it's also, we've all three of us have had the same level of mentoring. That's what you're going at and you're searching for and you're paying for.
Yeah.
How much of how influential has that been to you and your business and your decisions with how you're moving forward with everything? Like even just from the point of, could be a simple management course, like how important is investing in your own training and development as a business owner?
It's mandated. Like you have to do it.
It's a cost of business.
Yeah. Anyone that thinks that they, know it all, or, I dealt with a lot of different clients, and I have done in a lot of different industries, and you sort of get a touch of everything, and you sort of, you're your own boss. But without that mentorship and without speaking to other people that have done it before, you wouldn't have the foreseeable future of where you could get to and how quick. Like I could go on my own journey, and Flangren Co could go on its own journey, but it's like having a mentor. You could fast track it. You save years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, right? Like you're buying time.
You're buying time, right? And for next to nothing, because your mentor's done
Comparatively,
yeah, comparatively. Like, again, I don't like to spend money, but coaching's sometimes not cheap, and it shouldn't be for a reason, because they've got all their skills and experiences, and they're giving it to you in 3 days, hypothetically. It's like someone that writes a book over 10 years, and you can consume all of that information in 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, tell people that all the time.
I know, brainer.
Go read a book. Someone spent 30 years of their life learning all this stuff. They put it into a book. You can read it in a week.
Yeah.
Spend the fucking week.
But we're on Netflix, and we're on Instagram, and we're on Facebook, which is, don't get me wrong, it's important for a business to be on those social platforms.
Whether you're consuming or it's whether you're a consumer or a creator. Yeah, that's where it comes down.
Watching someone in Zimbabwe build a house as opposed to trying to build your brand or your awareness.
Yeah, those Zimbabwe houses though. They're pretty good.
Might get passed on.
Definitely entertaining.
Yeah. But like you said, the mentorship of what we chose to, get into, which is now going on 3 years, has, I believe, fast-tracked us, most definitely. And now, someone telling us to put in the GM, I probably wouldn't have come up with that, because a lot of accounting firms don't have general managers. And putting that in, like you said, Robbie, buys you back time.
But you also would have been, you probably would have been okay had you not put him in. You know what I mean? You probably would have kept making money. You probably would have done all right for yourself.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what you don't know. You don't know it was going to take you longer. You probably just thought, this is the trajectory of how long it's going to take me. And it's not until you do it that you go, holy shit, look at this. It's like employees, even employing your first employee. Once you employ them, you go, I will never not have an employee.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you go, that senior management. Okay, I'm going to put on this senior manager now. I will never not have that senior manager.
Yeah, that right.
And then it just gets you're building again, your GM on. And it's like, I will never not have a GM.
Yeah.
So it's critical. People are probably one of the most fundamental things that you need to bring into your business for it to grow.
Like you said, you sit on the comfy mattress because you've got a level of income that's suitable for your lifestyle, but no one kicks your ass as a business owner.
You'd have to answer to anyone.
Correct, right? Yeah. You collect the money, you're paying your bills, you're paying yourself a wage, but no one's there to go, can you double? Why haven't you doubled? Why haven't you done an acquisition? Why haven't you got a GM? Because you don't know what you don't know. And that's what we say to our clients, right? You don't know what you don't know. So it's not only from a learning perspective, but also someone to make you accountable. You got a call or a meeting with your coach in, say, 3 months, how quickly you do things. It's like homework or a school assignment.
Yeah.
Like it was always left to the last minute, right? But if that due date never came, you would never do that school assignment. You would never have done your homework if you didn't have a due date. So I think that's also an added benefit of having a mentor is the accountability.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, who are you accountable to if you run your own business?
Yeah, 100%.
No one. And then you can learn other things about what you actually wanted to achieve in your life. Because like myself, it was a flip of a coin of what degree I went into after school. I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Yeah. Decide what the rest of your life looks like at 18 years old.
That's right. And now it's about what I want to do and what my family wants to be able to achieve and what I want to do with Alessia. And is that accounting? Absolutely. It's helping small business, but it's helping instead of one-to-one, we want to now go on the journey of one-to-many. And, we come up with ideas because we've just come out of some training at the moment, but it's like a free community event to teach people how to use Xero. So like you, Rob.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click just over here. Or if you want to watch the full episode, you can click over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and thanks for watching.